My family had no concerns about me being my authentic self. The only thing they conveyed to me religiously was if I was going to be trans, I better be a great one. That means being educated and having great values, because this life is hard and you're gonna face discrimination all the time. So you would have to work harder than anyone else because you're different. I would describe myself as vulnerable sexual. You know that saying, it takes a village to raise a child? I embody that. I was not only raised by my mum and dad, I was raised by my aunties, my uncles, my older cousins. I was raised by my whole family. I think I've always known growing up. There was no coming out story. There was no big reveal, I guess you could say. I've always been quite feminine. Growing up, I wouldn't play with Spider-Man, I'd play with the Bratz doll. But for me, when I properly realized I wanted to be a female was when I was 12. I didn't know where I fit into society. It was difficult. It was scary and a lot of anxiety. The fear of not knowing. Terms that I didn't even know existed, like transgender or gay or LGBT or the queer community. When you're that young, you have a little bit of understanding, but you don't understand it in depth enough to be confident. My auntie, she was fully out, fully transitioned. She's had all her surgeries. Beautiful. I didn't even know she was trans when I was growing up. I didn't even know what trans was. And it wasn't until when I asked her, I said, hey, are you trans? And she said, yes, baby. And that was like a big eye-opener for me, that if she's brave enough to do it in our family, so can I. Over here we have my beautiful mama bear. Hey, mama.
Kia ora.
And over here we have my baby sister, Paula.
Kia ora.
Family is my everything. They've always had an outpour of love, and I think that's what gave me the strength and the courage to carry on or to keep doing what I'm doing. When I was quite young, when I got my first ever job, I saved up paycheck to paycheck to change my name legally. Ever since then, I've been known as Bianca Hope Dawson Puia. And at the age of 21, the judge granted me female on my birth certificate. I felt almost as complete as it would have been having surgeries. Like, these are my legal binding documents. These tie me to who I am. I can confidently go overseas or move to another country or travel anywhere domestically or internationally and not have any qualms or worry about anything tying me back to my gender at birth. To be able to confidently walk out of the house, to be able to just be normal, or whatever society calls normal.
It's actually therapeutic, eh?
What colour are you getting, Mama?
You know what I was thinking? Lavender. I absolutely love my daughter. I totally support wherever she is, whatever she's doing, wherever she's going. Within reason, of course, Bubba? There's a lot of figuring out as you go along. You know, how do you work in with not just home, but how do you work in schools at a young age, friends. I guess you go through a grieving process too. You're transitioning yourself. You go through the motions with them. You're letting go of a son, and then you start to embrace and you start accepting you now have a daughter. So long as you know you're doing what's right, not only physically, mentally, and making sure she's looking after herself in the wairua too, and spiritually.
I think if there's a piece of advice that Mum's given me that's going to stick with me for life, is if you're going to be a woman, be a bloody great one.
You can call me superstar. Whoa. You can call me superstar. Whoa.
So I've known Bianca for the past 12 years now, and she's always been the most outgoing person ever.
We were both put into the same class at intermediate. When I just went up to her and I was like, hi, my name is Sarah. Let's be friends. And the rest is history. She's literally the yin to my yang.
And we used to come here to hang out all the time, get up to mischief. One memory that I do have, we used to go just behind you over there to go watch all the hot guys play rugby. Cheer them on, be little cheerleaders, you know.
I think it's very important to have people who are similar to you in your circle of friends, even if it's just one. Our friendship is more special than any other connection that I have because we walk a similar journey. We're both transgender girls. If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. The first part of my sexual reassignment surgery was done here in New Zealand. You need to do a lot of research. You also need to be mentally prepared for this and fully understand what you're signing up for. You will never be able to have biological children of your own, post-op infections. You may not be mentally prepared for the surgery, which could result in depression. There's a lot of things you need to take into consideration before starting this journey. I've got a really good circle that surround me. They will do things like come in and bring me food because everyone knows I love to eat. And just little things like just mental health check-ins or what we like to call welfare checks. Every single part of my transition growing up, we've always celebrated every single win, whether it's small or big.
Oh!
The first time I met you, I got called to the guidance counsellor's office, and I remember it very vividly, and I was like, why am I getting pulled out of class? What am I getting in trouble for now? What did I do now? And then I just saw you standing in the room with your eyes just lit up when I walked in, and you opened me with a big hug, and I was like, who is this person? Like, what?
I didn't know you personally, and I saw all these videos popping up of this young, proud transgender identifying girl. When I had walked in, I saw you, and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is the girl that I saw on, that was popping up on my Facebook feeds. And so that's why I embraced you with a hug, because I know as a transgender woman myself, as much as we hide behind the smile or hide behind just getting involved or making someone laugh or blessing someone with our presence, that we've got our struggles, and just waking up and getting ourselves out of bed is a huge achievement in itself. There's a lot of memories that come into mind, especially with transitioning together in 2009. under the leadership of the late Mama Tere Strickland, Auntie Lara Trinity Heta, and Auntie Felicia. There was a partnership with Work and Income called the MAX Project, and that was to help young transgender identifying people, and specifically female transgender women, to get into employment. We called it Transitioning Together because we wanted to remind every individual that comes through a school, through the education system, who is exploring their identity or who identify as transgender, that they're not alone.
I don't know if you remember how much you did for me. You opened my eyes to a community that I never knew about. I enrolled here, and without a doubt, I just asked him, hey, I see myself as female. Can I wear the female's uniform? No qualms, no hesitations, sure. I can't thank you enough for it, because look at where I am today.
Can I just give you a
Pause. Ambulance, what's the exact address of the emergency?
27 Domain Road.
One moment, just locating you, ma'am. Stay on the line. I work at the Order of St. John, New Zealand, which is the ambulance service for the country, and my role within the organisation is an advanced emergency medical dispatcher. I joined the organisation to be able to give back to my country, to be able to help our most vulnerable, and I think that's always at the front of my mind every time I walk through those doors, is helping Kiwis all around our country. When people are in emergency situations, I need to be strong for them, and that's all that runs in the back of my mind, is I need to be confident and strong and calm because they're ringing me for help. What I would like the world to know about trans people of colour here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, is that we are loving, we have hearts of gold, we are down to earth, we are successful, we are smart, we are intelligent. But don't get it twisted, we'll still cut a bitch if we need to.
Stand.